How do you cross the Nullarbor with 2 kids? This video will answer that.
But first, a quick introduction. My name is Samantha, and along with my husband Tom and 2 girls, Mila and Callie, we make up our Wandering Hearts. We've been travelling around Australia in our caravan for over a year, and although we've seen a lot, we haven't yet set foot in Western Australia. We're so excited to see all the incredible beaches that WA has to offer, but to get there we've got to cover some distance first. Welcome to the Nullarbor Plain, one of Australia's most boring, interesting areas. We've got to cover a whopping 1,400 kilometres and 14 and a half hours of driving in just 72 hours with 2 toddlers in the back seat. Will we survive with our sanity intact? Let's find out.
Welcome to our Nullarbor crossing video. Our plan to do the crossing is to split it up over 3 days. We're going to stop in Penong this afternoon, so it's only a 1-hour drive, but just to see some sights there. The following day we'll be heading to Eucla. I think that's a 5.5-hour journey, maybe, that one. And then the second and third days are pretty much the same, 4.5 and 5.5-hour drives, I think, those days. Stopping at Baladonia and then in Esperance. And then we'll be in Esperance for 2 weeks. I know it seemed pretty daunting to me, for when I was looking up the Nullarbor Plain, I didn't really want to cross it with the kids. And I was trying to figure out how to get there without having to drive it. So if you do want to know how we're crossing the Nullarbor, then this video is exactly for you. Stay tuned for the Nullarbor crossing. And to those that don't know what the Nullarbor Plain is, it's pretty much the road that connects from east to west in Australia. And from Ceduna, which is where we are right now in South Australia, it is 14 and a half hours to get to Esperance in WA. So buckle up because it's going to be a big journey. Next stop, Penong.
It was a nice afternoon drive to get to Penong. After we arrived and set up for the night, we drove out to go exploring one of South Australia's most famous pink lakes, although it was more creamy beige for us.
Welcome to Lake McDonald.
If you've seen the Instagram post of this salt lake, you may arrive disappointed if you come at the wrong time. The pink colour usually is best around springtime.
Tom's currently addicted to checking the tyre pressure because it looked a little bit flat the other day.
It was 10 pound flat. 37, baby, we're in business. Yeah!
Tom said that this was clear when we first got here. Pinky pink tinge. You can sort of see the pinky tinge in here. I'm going to fall through this. Slightly concerning. So it's not super pink at the moment, which is fine because it's still really unique to just come to a salt lake.
The girls are really loving it anyway.
I am always amazed by salt lakes. The way the salt granulates naturally is so cool, and the fact that this one turns pink is even cooler. The contrast of the blue lake over the road makes it pretty special too. So this is pretty much how we're spending our afternoon, just hanging out by Lake McDonald. But tonight we're staying in the Penong Caravan Park, which is right next to the Windmill Museum. It's one of the top sites to see while you're here, and you can't really miss it. It's pretty big and obvious. Bye, Salt Lake! Almost dinner time for the girls, so we're going to head home and have a nice big rest before our first 5.5-hour drive across the Nullarbor tomorrow. The Salt Lake is definitely worth a visit along the way.
Good morning, we've just woken up here in Penong. We've had some breakfast and we're about to hit the road. Today's journey will consist of heading towards Eucla, so we'll be crossing into the Western Australia border today. The total drive time today should only be about 4.5 hours, which is really good for the kids. So we're going to split it up in 2 drives. So this morning we'll be going from Penong to the Nullarbor Roadhouse and seeing the Bunda Cliffs. And then after we stop for lunch at the Roadhouse, we'll be then driving from the Nullarbor Roadhouse to Eucla. So we'll be staying there for the night, and then tomorrow's journey will be another one. We're about to hit the road. Just wanted to say, look at all this mist. It's crazy foggy here. We'll see you at the Bunda Cliffs.
Callie seems to have her worst driving in the mornings, so we were grateful it was over.
Officially hitting the Nullarbor Plain. We're about 15 minutes away from the Great Australian Bight Visitor Centre. We're going to stop there first, and then we will head to the Nullarbor Roadhouse.
There was a lot of nothingness along the way.
So we just arrived at the Great Australian Bight Visitor Centre, and it is so foggy here that you cannot see a thing. So that was a bit of a shame. We might try and see the Bunda Cliffs in a different area, maybe closer to Eucla where we're going tonight. But for now, we're going to be missing out.
It was a shame to miss the Bunda Cliffs, since it is basically the only thing I wanted to see along the way to WA, but we made peace with our circumstances and headed for the Nullarbor Roadhouse.
Should we fly?
The flies were sticky here, but we were glad to have a break from driving. We had some epic burgers for lunch. Honestly, the burgers from these roadhouses must be some of the best.
Good burger. You should let us, yummy?
We've got 2 hours to get to, well, 1 hour 50 I think to get to Border Village.
And then from there it's only like 10-20 minutes or something to Eucla. The roadhouse here was interesting. The burgers are good. That's really all I have to say.
We started going a bit loopy.
I wish we had a plane.
Maybe we should just do a hot air balloon next. Just put a hot air balloon on the top of the caravan and just
Like up.
yeah.
To cross the border into WA, you have to stop at the quarantine checkpoint. It was very straightforward and they just search your car and caravan for any fruit, vegetables, seeds or honey.
We're in Western Australia!
First time ever. Mila has officially been to every state in Australia at the age of 3.
Every state and territory. Kelly, you getting there?
We stopped at the Eucla Hotel for the night. There's no water provided, so make sure to fill your water tanks.
Home for the night in Eucla. We had the dishwasher stacked full to the brim. There's no water here. Looks like we'll be hand washing today. So on our way into Eucla, we could see the Bunda Cliffs and we saw that they were clear and no clouds to be seen. So we're going on a bit of an adventure and we're going to head back over to South Australia, have a little look at the Bunda Cliffs and then head back into WA again. We'll have to do the quarantine again, which will be very fun. But let's go check out the cliffs, girls.
We drove 35 minutes back the way we came to try and see the Bunda Cliffs, but when we arrived it wasn't so cliffy. Honestly, the views were still epic and we had a nice afternoon regardless. We tried another lookout down the road and it was the same with just sloping hills down to the ocean. Like I said though, it was still really nice to see. We finished our sightseeing and headed home for dinner.
It is currently 6 AM here in Eucla. We've woken up with a lot of energy to just get done with our drive today. We're going to try and get to Norseman, which is 7 hours away. Girls are full of energy, so we'll see how we go. We just arrived to the Madeira Roadhouse. We're going to fill up the fuel here and then we're going to stop for some breakfast because Tom and I actually haven't eaten yet. Next, we're going to stop at Saiguna. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Saiguna. Is that right? Okay, Mila got it right. So we're going to stop there then and fill up the car again before we cross the 90-mile straight. We'll be in Balladonia before lunch, stop there for lunch and then continue on to Norseman if all goes to plan. Not much going on here, but there's fuel and hopefully food. I do love travelling in a caravan. We just stopped for almost an hour here to have some breakfast and the girls just had a really good time playing with their toys and running around the caravan. It's nice to just be able to take your home with you wherever you go and let them have a little bit of a break from the big drive. Next stop, Saiguna, whatever it's called, to fill up again before we cross the 90-mile straight.
We passed so many massive oversized trucks and road trains on this drive. We didn't see much else apart from the occasional emu.
Don't worry guys, we've only got 4.5 hours to go. We're here guys. How do you say it? I said Saiguna. Let us know how we meant to pronounce it please in the comments. It's busy here today. Saiguna, hub of the universe. Thanks.
Oh, bargain. Only $2.50.
We were excited for the next stretch, Australia's longest straight road.
90 miles straight. Next hour and a half, just a straight road.
You ready for a long drive?
Been driving all morning. I just stocked up on all the essentials for the next hour and a half. Next stop, Balladonia. So stoked. Woo!
By now, the roads were just teasing us with how long and boring they were, but we fed ourselves some snacks and we survived.
They're happy now they got their snacks. You happy now you've had your snack? He just wants more snack. How about if you had 10 of those Kit Kats from Japan?
Oh, don't even. That was so good.
I think a lot of parents would use iPads and stuff for this kind of driving that we're doing today, but Mila gets extremely car sick. This is us now.
Okay.
What? I don't know what that was. But we've made it a whole year of travelling around Australia so far without any TV in the car. This is why we cap our drives to 2 to 2.5 hours. So we just got to Balladonia. That was a pretty big trip, that one. The girls were a bit impatient and me and Tom are a bit bored, as you can see. They're going a bit crazy. But we're going to stop here for some lunch and then we're going to get back in the car for 2 more hours to get to Norseman. And I'm pretty certain we'll make it now because we're pretty much there. Oh, that looks good. That is huge. 2 hours to go. This one should be pretty easy though because Callie's due for her nap. So hopefully she sleeps for most of the way and Mila usually has a little bit of a sleep too.
You did a huge drive today. A bit worn out, hey? It was a huge day, girls. Well done. What a day. 7.5 hours, I think, to get here. The girls did so well, and I'm really proud of them for travelling that whole way with not really any issues, but now Kelly's a bit done. Now it's time to get the house ready. Back in the car. It's another day driving one more leg of the trip. It's only 2 hours to Esperance today, which is awesome.
Heard good things about Esperance. I'm excited to see what it's like.
Yes. Those last 2 hours really dragged on.
Esperance!
We made it to Esperance. It was probably the slowest drive I've ever experienced in my life. But we're here now and we're going to go and find a cafe for breakfast because we can't check in for a couple of hours. Good job, girls. You made it all the way to Esperance.
Made it all the way to WA.
Let's go find some breakfast. We had a really nice morning enjoying a good meal from Bistro Lewis and walked around the markets and along the beach. It felt so good to have that massive journey behind us and we were ready to have an epic time in Esperance. Caravan's in need of a bit of TLC after that 3 days of travel. Oh my goodness. Tune in next week as we visit as many beaches as we can, step foot on the whitest sand in Australia, hike basically vertical up a rock, and fly over some of the best beaches in the world. Esperance is a place you won't want to miss on your lap around Australia. Thanks for watching, guys.